Hey cuties, PeachY here, welcome back to a new video, and in this video we have some Rainbow High news to talk about, so much in fact, from brand new episode breakdowns. We have more tea for upcoming Sparkle and Shine series 2 dolls and possibly a first look at those designs, and then we even have more Poppy disrespect. So stay tuned, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, firstly, let's just get into the Poppy disrespect because it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. So it was Find a Rainbow Day, like yesterday or whatever, this week, in the first week of April, and to celebrate this day, they shared on Instagram a post with multiple pictures, each picture having 3 of the characters, including Iris. So I'm guessing Iris really is now confirmed to be like a major part of the main group now. She's like the newest member, so she is in the first picture, alongside with some couple other faces, and then we have in the middle picture Poppy next to Sunny and Jade. And then the last picture, obviously, we have, the other dolls, newest dolls with Bella, Skylar, and Violet. So here in the middle one, with Poppy, she's like the only one who's like, an older doll. It's so clear, it's so obvious. She has like the wrist movement. She has like basically they put her fashion runway doll or whatever into the original, series 1 look, or like her second look from way back when, way back when, and they just stuck her in there, and like she has the painted nails, like she looks deluxe, she looks so out of place because obviously she hasn't gotten the reboot treatment. She hasn't gotten a doll since 2023, which is so crazy. Just let that sink in, okay? And yet they still use her here in these pictures. They still include her in the episodes, and they still give her a couple of lines, like they're still acknowledging her presence, her being here, but it's like they're just giving her, it's like such disrespect, and I cannot stand it. Like, what are they doing here? Because obviously it's clear that they're not going to get rid of Poppy in the series. She's always going to be an integral part of the story, for better or worse, because she is part of the original cast of members from way back when in season 1. So they have to keep her on. They will. So what's going to happen here? If they're not going to give her dolls, if they're not going to give her an updated look, but they're going to keep using her in the series, and they're going to keep making it seem like, oh, she's still here, like she still has products, but not really. It's like, okay, well, there's like a mixed message here. I don't understand what you want to do here, MGA. Do you want to replace her with Clementine? If you want to do that, then do that, but please be open and transparent about that. If you're not going to do that and you're just going to keep her on like some kind of like, just a spokesperson for the orange color, right? Because she's part of the original cast, and that to me that's just like wrong, because she should still get the treatment of getting dolls, but she's not. I don't know why. It's like MJ's convinced that she doesn't sell enough when her fashion runway doll was like the best popular one, right? Like we all know that was the one hardest to find, and yet here MJ is thinking like, oh no, she doesn't sell enough, like she's an orange doll, whoa. But then yet again we have Clementine, an orange doll, released like last year or so. What are they doing? I don't understand. We're getting like mixed messages here. I'm just so confused, and I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the Poppy disrespect here, because they're going to keep using her in the promotional campaigns, images, promo pics, group shots, doll photography posts for Instagram. They're going to keep using her, but they're not going to include her with new dolls, and they're going to have her in the background for episodes, but again, no new dolls. So what are they doing? I just don't understand. Like, okay, keep her, but not really. It's like, it feels so half-assed, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it feels so disingenuous, because like, it's so clear to me that they're just doing this because Poppy is such a original character from season 1, and they know that they could never replace her, because then who else could go, no one else is safe then, right? So they're not going to replace her with Clementine. But then here we are, still no new dolls, like still no clear, vision of like, well, what's supposed to happen here? But and it's not just Poppy, like we've already talked about this, Ruby, Jade, those 2 characters haven't gotten a new doll also in a hot second. And it really seems like the future of, Rainbow High dolls is always going to be a rotating a circle of just, Amaya and now Iris, which, she's gorgeous, but still like just another rainbow character. And then Skylar, Violet, and Bella. And really, and Sunny too, but not even Sunny, because Sunny even missed out on the new, resin doll. So even she seems to be in like, ooh, okay, iffy waters. So it seems like, MJ is much more just wanting to put all their eggs in the most popular characters, which are, again, Violet, Skylar, Bella, Amaya, Iris, and maybe Sunny, and maybe Jade and Ruby, but it's not looking too good. And then Poppy, of course, like it's just, I don't know. What do you think of this situation? It's just becoming more clear that Poppy's really just there to like, because she's part of the group, but it's like so clear that she's not really part of the group anymore. She's not an active member anymore, and that's just so sad to see. And I'm scared for like Jade and Ruby's future, because it seems like they're also on their way out with new dolls. Moving on to the episode breakdown, starting off here with episode 2, starts off with Skylar showing off her new abilities, wearing the ring and taking it off. She feels different. She feels more in tune with Rainbow World. So we can see here how the ring really is the object of, that lets these characters transform. Here we have normal Skylar. And then here is, special Skylar, yay! So, Sunny's feeling like, okay, well, what's gonna happen to the rest of us who do not have rings? And especially Poppy, who, of course, we all know is not really relevant anymore with new dolls. So, Miss Morton comes in and she's like, okay, well, we obviously have 2 groups here that are like not the same, but she tries her best to be like, you all have equally important jobs to do. I promise you. Yeah, sure, okay, oh sure, Miss Morton, okay. You just have to say that, because obviously it's not true. So here we have the one group. Obviously they're gonna go on their mission to resolve the moonbow crystal situation. So we have Violet and Amaya here first. They go to the red beginning of the rainbow area. And because it's red, obviously, it's all very hot. It's very hot weather, very, very warm, and everyone's super hot and just so like sweating and just like, like so tired, right? So of course, it's very clear now that, like blue, oh, calm, sad, red, ooh, it's hot, too warm, ooh, it's uncomfortable. And you'll see a pattern here with the other crystal, the moonbow crystals, that they also have very similar effects on the residents in the area. So Violet sees the crystal and she's like, I'm gonna walk up this cliff with my heels on, thank you very much. Amaya's like, well, maybe we should like try the safer path that would also take about the same exact time. But Violet's like, you know what? No, screw that. I want to walk on these heels up on this cliff. After a quick song, showing the different perspectives, Violet finally reaches the top and she goes up the tree as well. But then she, unfortunately, she slips. And of course, like we all thought, it's dangerous. So like maybe you should not do that, especially like wearing blocky heels. Ridiculous. Okay, like who cares? Nothing matters anymore. Like nothing matters. And of course she's not gonna get hurt. Like Amaya saves her here, and then they stumble into the tree where, oh my god, that's where the Crystal Palace lies. And so of course that's when they, get their newfound powers. They transform into a magical girl montage, which is also just very boring because it's just like 2 seconds and it's over. And then we have them, here wearing their new cool looks. And then they return to the tree. And of course, what happens? They suck out the color saturation from red from the crystal, and they restore the balance from the area. And then I think here next up, this is episode 3. We have Skylar and Bella entering the kingdom area, and so this is disappointing to me because like in the cliffhanger episode for the last episode for season 5. We saw kind of like a green mist appear in this, travel gateway in a portal, right? And we thought, oh, maybe it's like something bad, like a villain. And because we do hear like a villain laugh or someone's laughing. But it's clear to me now that, oh, what we saw in that last scene was actually just the green oversaturated imbalanced crystal from that area sinking into the portal here. So it actually doesn't have anything to do with the maniacal laughter. Those are just 2 separate things, and I'm not even sure if we're gonna ever find out who was laughing in that last scene from season 5. So that kind of sucks because I thought definitely was like something more ominous, but like no, it's just the green from the area, bleeding into the portal, gateway. So whatever. Anyway, so here we have the kingdom where Marina lies, one of the new characters from Sparkle and Shine, which we'll talk about those new dolls in a second. So here we have one of the pets, on the throne, and it's very clear that with the green area, everyone's become very jealous. Everyone's very jealous and envious of the other person. So they're all fighting for the crown. They're all fighting for certain things, and their opinions, including a girl's opinions of each other, become very much more amped up and turned onto a, level 10, and like you can see Bella here is she's like getting mad at Skylar because Skylar already has her glow up, and Bella's like she's feeling left out obviously because she still has yet to achieve hers. So the two girls communicate with the Marina princess and Rosetta, the designer who they never did anything with. She was like in one episode and that was it. And then at least they even had their debut. Viola still has never shown up in the animated series, so I guess she's gonna just join the others in the list of characters who never appeared in the animated series of Rainbow High, like Shadow High Series 3. So yay. Anyway, and like Lily Chang, and what happened to her? Like, whatever. They have to figure out a way to distract the guards, and they do find a way, and of course it leads them away from the door, and they get in, they're all happy, they find a crystal, they enter a song montage where they realize that Skylar cannot do this alone, and she needs the help of Bella to, balance these crystal again. So Bella gets her transformation really quickly, and then they join hands, and they do it together, and then yay, it's all restored, the balance is restored, the kingdom is back to normal, and Marina and Rosetta apologize for their, jealousy towards each other, which again was like just 2 scenes and that's it. So it's like, and so yay, the girls, they did it, and then we move on to the next episode here, where they have all returned now to the school, and this whole episode is actually the 4 girls together here going to the beach where the orange oversaturated moonbow crystal lies. So as you might have been able to tell with these effects, well, what will the orange crystal affect? Like what will its effect be on the residents of the area, including Clementine here, who we also haven't seen in a hot second, so at least she's getting more screen time once again. And you will not guess what the side effect is of the orange crystal. It's that they're goofy. They're goofy now. They have too much fun. They have too much energy. And you can see here, Clementine is not herself. She wants to have fun and only fun. So the girls promise to have fun with her if she shows them where the moonbow crystal lies. But then of course she was lying, so she doesn't want to. She's like, yeah, I want to skip ahead and I'm just gonna whatever. So random. And then the moonbow mare comes along, and the mare is like, oh, you know what, let me show you what's happening here, because I guess the mare, the horse, is not affected by these side effects from the crystal. So the mare shows them that it's actually just here on the beach. The crystal was just under the water the whole time, and so they restore the crystal once again. And then Clementine's like, yeah, I'm sorry you guys, I was just like really wacky. I was just like, oh, I was just having so much fun, and I was just like, oh. So yeah, anyway, then we move on to the last episode from the live stream, which is episode 5. We move on to the other half of the group. Obviously, they're still searching for clues on where to find these shimmers, because, they have nothing else to do, unfortunately. Just like, that's just the harsh truth. These 4 characters, they don't have anything else to do, so all they can do is just, sit around and look for clues where to find these shimmers, but they have no idea. So they're just kind of feeling depressed and just like, really on the down, because, they just don't feel like they're contributing as much. But at least, Poppy has a speaking line here. She speaks. So yay, Poppy. She's here. She does exist, and she's contributing somewhat to these scenes. So yay. But Sunny's getting like, oh no, what happens if we break up, and that's why we break up, the friendship in the group breaks up. So the other half of the 4 girls, they return from another successful trip restoring a moonbow crystal, actually just the one from last episode. and then the other half are looking at them like, oh no, oh, they're having too much fun. Oh no. And then yeah, so basically you can see here there's a rift starting to appear with the two groups. You know, Sunny's trying to look at it positively, and you know, Skylar tells her like the sooner we end these missions, the sooner we can become one big group again. Well, I guess that kind of works, but also like they would still have rings, so I don't know. I don't know if that really works like that, but sure, let's be positive. So the girls are still looking, and you know, as they're doing that, we have, yes, by the way, this is a song montage. So yeah, by the way, the songs for this season so far are okay, I guess kind of good. Like some are better than others, but they're still like way too short, and they're just still very generic. But anyway, so you can see here, the groups are doing their own separate things, and really so surprising. So the yellow crystal here, they kind of just like restored in the montage, so we never actually get to see like the area of this yellow moonbow crystal, unfortunately. And I also believe I missed it here. Yes, this was the purple crystal that they restored, and this seems to be the snowy area, which maybe is where the Winter Wonderland heist episode took place. So you know, they could have shown off more some of the environment, but no, there's like just snow here and that's it, and they restore it. So it kind of just feels like very, you know, like way too quick. So yeah, that's the purple one. Here's the yellow one. It's all restored. And then, you know, the other group are still figuring it out. Here's the pink crystal. I guess it's in the woods, just randomly. Okay, cool, fine. And then they return. And it all seems to be like resolved, because they restored all of the crystals, you know. But it seems like actually no, because the blue, it's really blue again in Rainbow World, and but the crystal's fine. So yeah, both groups are now like, well, crap, you know, we both tried to do something and we both failed. And then Sunny says like, oh, if only a shimmer would come knocking at our door. And that's exactly what happens with Iris Bow here making her debut. She's like, the girls are like, you know, Ruby asks her, can I help you? And then Iris is like, no. And then she like resolves the blue issue from the school. And then she says, I can help you. You know, very just so, you know, generic script writing. Sunny's like, oh my God, she really just came knocking at our door when we needed her most. And then she's like, yeah, you will need to find the rest of the shimmers with my help if you want to restore proper order back to Rainbow World. And then that's when it cuts off. And so that's the last episode from, you know, episode 5, season 6, that we've seen so far. I guess we'll have to wait for episode 6 until like next week or 2 weeks from now, because, you know, they did give us like 4 episodes, so that's a lot. But yeah, you can watch them right now until April 10th as a live stream on their YouTube channel. I'm assuming that they will just get posted like normal after that. I'm not sure, but I yeah, whatever happens next, I guess obviously we'll see more Shimmer characters, new characters probably, and Iris will be become a closer, you know, a new member obviously of the group. So yeah, I just, you know, to me it definitely feels like, you know, MJ, they know they know that 4 characters here don't have new dolls, and they're just trying to make up an excuse in the series to make sense of it. So yeah, it really feels like it's always just about the dolls, and the story comes in second place. It's really more of an afterthought. So yeah, these episodes were fun, but I also feel like it's just so obvious how some of these characters have nothing to do, unfortunately. Lastly, yes, we also have news of a new Sparkle and Shine Series 2 doll line, including once again 4 characters here shared by Sweet Snap. We don't have any listing pictures yet, or like confirmation of who's going to be included or whatever, but you know, the first series did well, I'm thinking, so it's very likely that this is very true. And also alongside this, kind of like in tandem, you know, the Rainbow High YouTube channel and on Instagram, they shared this short form video showing off brand new outfits for both Amaya and Iris. So it seems like, and not only that, but they're also both, you know, they have the transparent legs, so it's very clear that, you know, these 2 designs are going to be included in the new second series of the Sparkle and Shine doll line. It's very likely because I mean, like, otherwise, why would Amaya, who doesn't have sparkly legs, and also Iris doesn't have sparkly legs, why would those two characters have now sparkly legs, which is the gimmick from the Sparkle and Shine Sparkle and Shine series, if that's not, you know, connected to some extent. So it's very likely that these designs are part of the second series, and that means that Iris and Amaya are going to be part of this second series. Now, who else could be included? I guess if they're doing these with the reused characters, very likely Bella and probably Violet or Skylar or Sunny, but not likely Ruby or Jade or Poppy. I mean, it's just, there is no surprise anymore. We know who's going to be part of these series, part of these lines. It's just, it's getting really bland and boring and repetitive. So hopefully they do have like a couple of new characters, or at least Ruby and Jade. Like, that would be cool to have them here. But let's see, as far as these two designs go, it's very likely, I mean, again, like the sparkle legs, like, why would they have those if not to connect these designs to the new second series of these Sparkle and Shine line? I think they have to be connected. It just, why else the sparkly legs? Why else does Amaya have sparkly legs? Like, how is she not freaking out? Like, what are they gonna give us as an explanation this time to explain sparkly legs on these characters? Like, who didn't have them before? But yeah, what do you think? Who would you want to see get included in the second series? And yeah, that was the video. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and consider becoming a member of the channel to support the channel if you're able to, of course. And so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way and keeping you up to date with all the doll tea you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time, stay peachy. Kisses.